Good morning, everyone. My name is Reverend Emily Bruce, and I'm the minister of this congregation. Welcome to First Parish Church here in Kingston. Whether this is your first time or your 1000th time or somewhere in between, we're happy to have you, and it is good to be together today. As Unitarian Universalists, we are a people of diverse beliefs, but we share a common faith, a faith that every person is worthy of love, that what we do in and for this world matters, and that we are connected by an interdependent web to each other and to our earth. So whoever you are and wherever you are on your spiritual journey, you are welcome here today. In a moment, our worship associate, Amanda Pine, will lead us in lighting our chalice. But first, as always, there are a few announcements. And the first is, if you brought contributions for our mitten tree that you have not yet put up on the tree, you are welcome to do so now, while I make a few announcements about what's coming up. First, there are still several poinsettias available to be purchased from Christina Randall. They're $14 each. So see her after church today if you would like to buy a poinsettia for your home. It'll be available for pickup after Luminaries next Saturday, after Christmas Eve. You'd think I was in charge here. Yes, Christmas Eve. So you could come to Christmas Eve services and take your poinsettia home with you. Thank you. Clearly, I don't know everything that goes on here. And that's fine. Also today at 4:00 in the parsonage, which is directly across the street from the church next to Beale House, is our annual parsonage holiday party, 4 to 7 p.m. You are all warmly invited. If you would like to bring a finger food, appetizer, or dessert to share, that would be great. You don't have to. We will have a piano player that's not Tony, and we'll all sing Christmas carols so Tony can enjoy the party too. And we'll have food and drink, and the house is all decorated and it looks lovely, and I'd love to see you all there. So any time between 4 and 7 p.m. today, you are all welcome to join us. Next Saturday, the 16th, is the Luminaries Festival here on Main Street in our town. And I'm excited to announce that we are doing a couple things to be part of this. As usual, we're doing popcorn in the Beale House. So we need a couple volunteers to fill little bags and distribute them. So if you want to help out with that, talk to Christina. The Bobs, Casca, and Erlandson are going to be doing a couple fire pits on our lawn with marshmallows to roast, right? That are available to all. So if you want to help with that, please talk to Bob Casca or Bob Erlandson. I'm also trying to garner some enthusiasm to do some live music here in the meeting house from 6:30 to 7:30. There's usually a live music offering of some kind on the green at 5:30, so we'll do it after that. So if you want to sing carols, if you want to play something on the piano, anything and everything that you might be interested in, if you want to join with a couple people and sing some carols, I hope you'll consider it. Just let me know. The church will be open during the whole time, and we'll be playing recorded music for the rest of it. But just for that 1 hour, I'd love to get some live music going. So if you're interested, talk to me or talk to Tony. And as last year, the Clydesdales are back, and they will be offering horse-drawn carriage rides using our driveway. So a lot happening here next Saturday. I hope you come, and I hope you participate if you can. And that's it. So I invite you now, as always, to center yourself and get comfortable in your seat. Let your to-do list, put it down. If your phone is on, please turn it off or silence it. And join me in taking a deep breath in and out. Let the worries of the world, let the cares on your heart rest, and offer yourself some peace and some fellowship and some restoration, and silence your phones. And take another deep breath in and out. And let our worship begin. Amanda will lead us in lighting our chalice.
Good morning. My name is Amanda Pine, and I'm a member of the Music Committee. This morning, we light our chalice with these words by D.C. Fortune. We light this chalice as a symbol of our free faith. We light this chalice to remember the miracle of the oil that burned for 8 days. We light this chalice to mark the nights of midwinter. We light this chalice as we wait for the sun to return. Today is the second Sunday of Advent, a time that historically the people of Christian faith celebrate as a time to prepare for and make room for the holy. We honor Advent this morning by lighting candles and making space in our own hearts for something new to be born in each of us. For the first Sunday of Advent, we lit the candle of hope. For the second Sunday of Advent, we light the candle of joy. And we celebrate the universal love that is the spirit of this season. I invite you to rise in body or in spirit for our opening hymn, number 159, This Is My Song, in the gray hymnal.
As we enter into our time of sharing the joys and concerns that are on our hearts with our community, I invite you to join me in singing side 1 of May Love Be Your Guide. There should be a white card in your pew. Thank you all for sharing the joys and concerns that are on your heart in this space today. It continues to amaze me the way we create a safe space for these kinds of burdens and joys to be shared. Not many churches I've been a part of in my life have made space for this kind of vulnerability, and I think it's one of the most beautiful and sacred and holy things that we can do for each other. So thank you, all of you, for holding that space with us today and every Sunday. Will you please now join me in the spirit of prayer? Holy and ancient presence, love known by many names, we are in the midst of the season of celebration, celebrations of the birth of new hope, celebrations of the festival of lights, celebrations of belonging and community. Each celebration has the power to kindle hope in our hearts for peace on earth, peace in our nation, and peace in our homes. We have gathered in this season of celebration seeking comfort to soften the pain and the losses our lives have suffered in this year that is coming to an end. We hold this season of celebrations with the tenderness and love of our family, our friends, and this beloved community that surrounds us. Let us be embraced by the power of this sacred space that is created by this community. Let both joy and sorrow take their places in the fullness of our lives. Let the strength we embody bind us together as we move through these seasons of celebration into a new year with fervent hope for peace on earth. May it be so, and amen. Let us now have a moment of stillness together. Please join me now in singing side 2 of May Love Be Your Guide.
When we give, we say yes to something we value. In this congregation, we take up an offering each week to say yes to the values of our UU faith and yes to this beloved community. Please give as you are able. Today's offering will be gratefully received. Our offering is Let There Be Peace on Earth by Jill Jackson Miller and Cy Miller.
Let
Today's reading is a prayer written by an Israeli rabbi, Tamar Elad Applebaum, and a Palestinian sheikha, which is the wife of a sheikh, Ibtisam Mahamid. It was translated into English by Rabbi Amichai Lau Levi. God of life, who heals the brokenhearted and binds up their wounds, may it be your will to hear the prayer of mothers, for you did not create us to kill each other, nor to live in fear, anger, or hatred in your world. But rather you have created us so we can grant permission to one another to sanctify your name of life, your name of peace in this world. For these things I weep. My eye runs down with water for our children crying at night, for parents holding their children with despair and darkness in their hearts, for a gate that is closing, and who will open it before the day has ended? And with my tears and prayers, which I pray, and with the tears of all women who deeply feel the pain of these difficult days, I raise my hands to you. Please, God, have mercy on us. Hear our voice that we shall not despair, that we shall see life in each other, that we shall have mercy for each other, that we shall have pity on each other, that we shall have hope for each other, and we shall write our lives in the book of life. For your sake, God of life, let us choose life. For you are peace. Your world is peace, and all that is yours is peace. And so shall be your will. And let us say, Amen.
Friends, I don't think it is overstating to say that I have approached this Sunday's sermon with a certain amount of dread in my heart. Like many of you, my heart is broken by the daily news about the war in Israel and Palestine. So many innocent lives lost, so much destruction. And I am not Jewish or Muslim. I am not Israeli or Palestinian. I do not carry in my bones the generational trauma of the Holocaust. I cannot know how it feels to be part of either culture that is being affected by this humanitarian crisis. And yet, as a minister, as your minister, it is my job to find words. It is my job to name the things that lay as burdens on all of our hearts, to help you try to find a way to make meaning in this beautiful and broken world of ours, to find hope and truth and love amidst so much warmongering and suffering and hatred. And so I have dread in my heart, because I don't feel like I have the words. I certainly don't have the right answer, whatever that might be. I don't know which is the right side to be on. I don't have solutions. I don't have statements that so many seem to be offering lately that begin with, if only they would, or the thing that has to happen next is. I don't have any of those words. I would imagine that many of you feel the same way. You don't know how to end the fighting, how to stop the merciless destruction of innocent Israeli and Palestinian people. You don't know who's right or who's wrong. You may have some thoughts, but if the media has shown us anything these past several weeks, it's that no one truly has the answers, especially those people that are trying to claim that they do. The amount of social shaming, canceling, and outright rebuke that we have witnessed on all fronts is simply breathtaking. Because to hold this terrible, terrible situation with any kind of compassion and delicacy is to understand something very difficult, but fundamentally necessary. A lot of things are true. A lot of complex and contrasting things are true. Rabbi Danya Ruttenberg wrote a Substack post about this on October 12th, 5 days after the attack, and I utilize parts of her writing here. First, there is nothing, absolutely nothing that can justify the mass murder of innocent people, no matter what their governments or ruling authorities are doing. Terrorism is not a protest against injustice, but rather an act of despair that creates more suffering for everyone. Hamas terrorist leaders are not the Palestinian people, just as much as Netanyahu's corrupt government are not the Israeli people or all Jews everywhere. The trauma created by the Holocaust, a gruesome operation intended to eradicate an entire religious group of people, lives on in hearts and minds and souls for generations. And decades of occupation and attempts at expulsion also create trauma that lives on in hearts and minds and souls for generations. It is in both Netanyahu and Hamas's interest for all of us to take extreme positions. The path to Palestinian freedom and to peace and safety for everyone requires seeing everyone's humanity and rooting for everyone's liberation. Those are all hard truths. But another truth that I cling to right now is this: we were not created to destroy each other. That is why I chose that prayer for our reading this morning. We were created in and for love, not hatred. Sure, it doesn't really feel like that a lot of the time, but the human journey is a long one, and the journey of all humanity is even longer. I pray that eventually someday, we might begin to get it right. A few years ago, when I was still in seminary, I took a trip to Israel as part of a class I was taking. We spent 10 days there, of course, seeing all the holy sites, but also visiting schools, meeting with community leaders, and talking with Israelis and Palestinians to learn more about their way of life, what it meant to live in a place that is so sacred to so many different people, and how they find meaning in their own religious and cultural beliefs. On the third day of our trip, we met with two representatives from the Bereaved Families Forum for Peace. It was an eye-opening experience, to say the least, and I actually want to read you what I wrote in my journal about this encounter. This is from 2018. Day three had the distinction of being the day the jet lag really hit. We were all tired and grumpy, yours truly especially included. After lunch, we had a sit-down meeting at our hotel with representatives of the Bereaved Families Forum for Peace. Because I was so tired, see note above about jet lag, I will admit that I was not looking forward to this discussion. I was not looking forward to how heavy it would be. I didn't feel up to witnessing the stories that we would hear and the grief that would be present in that witness. That said, the people we met were incredible. It was a really amazing conversation, and I am so glad I was able to participate. The Bereaved Families Forum for Peace is made up of Israeli and Palestinian citizens. About 600 families in total make up the membership, who have lost loved ones in the conflict and are now advocating for peace between the two nations. We met an Israeli man whose daughter was killed by a suicide bomber while she was serving in the military, and a Palestinian woman whose husband was killed by Israeli police during a routine traffic stop. In her words, he was killed because he was, quote, driving while Palestinian. It was during this conversation that I really started to understand the complexity of the conflict and how many layers of distrust, hate, and grief that have built up in the last 70 years and longer. I thought the conflict was all about religion, Jewish versus Muslim, but it has very little, if anything, to do with religion. It is about land, yes, but land as cultural homeland. The Jews see this land as their birthright that they are returning to after 2,000 years. But Arabs are saying, we've been here for centuries. This is our land now. It is far more complex than that, of course, but that seems to be the foundation. Class issues are at the center of the conflict as well. By and large, Jews are more educated and wealthier, with Arabs making up the lower working class. Hotel workers, bus drivers, waiters, all of those people were Arab during our trip. I started to see a lot of the parallels between social issues that we face in our country, like racial discrimination and class conflict, and the issues that they are trying to wrestle with in Israel. I was inspired by these two people and how they were able to put their grief and their political and cultural disagreements aside to work for a larger peace for the countries that they loved. If they can work for peace after all of the death and grief that they have endured, then anyone can work for peace. I found that journal entry again recently as I was preparing for this service, and I was once again amazed that those two people who had all the justifiable reasons in the world for harboring war and hatred in their hearts chose to cultivate peace. Their beloveds were taken from them cruelly, and they channeled that grief into a passion for peace and unity, because we were not created to destroy each other. They know that, and they choose to live out that belief in our world. Harboring war in our hearts seems to be a destructive pastime that so much of our world is taken up with these days. I know I've said many times in this pulpit that the scarcity mindset really does a number on our society. The idea that we have to hoard all we have, take all we can, and destroy anyone who tries to get in our way. That we have to pick a side. That we have to make sure that we're on the right side. That the world is a battlefield and only the strong survive. That you're either for us or you're against us. This horrific war is a product of that kind of thinking, I believe. It is the end result of harboring war in our hearts about anyone who is different than us, who lives or loves or believes in ways that we don't, and therefore are not only not to be trusted, but to be destroyed. Is it more complicated than that? Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm not trying to oversimplify all of the layers that are present in this conflict. But in this season of Hanukkah, when so many rabbis and congregations are praying for miracles, I have to ask all of you, as I have asked myself, how do I harbor war in my heart? When we get caught up in us versus them, when we have opinions and not compassion, when we pretend to know and therefore judge the circumstances of people living half a world away from us, or even half a mile away from us. That is how the seeds of war are planted. Now, I'm not saying you're all harboring actual war in your hearts, but all of us are scared and all of us are frustrated. All of us are watching our institutions falter. All of us are losing trust in our leaders. All of us are shaking our heads at how it could ever have come to this. And then somehow watching it get worse, right? The future is not only uncertain, but it's alarming. And none of us has a map for where the road ahead will take us. But the message of Hanukkah is not a message of warmongering. There was a war, and the underdog Maccabees beat back the invading Syrian armies. But the true message of Hanukkah is that of a miracle, of the Maccabees rebuilding their sacred temple. Something that was supposed to be utterly destroyed was rebuilt into new life. Something that was so scarce, the lamp oil, flowed with great abundance for 8 days. People who were supposed to be eradicated found a way to survive and thrive again. That is the miracle of Hanukkah, and that is the miracle of peace. When I think about that message, I think about that mourning father and that grieving widow from the Bereaved Families Forum for Peace. They not only survived their losses, but transmitted their grief into new purpose. They shed the war they were harboring in their hearts and chose to cultivate peace. If they can do it, certainly we all can do it too. I close with these words from our reading, which is my prayer too for all who are affected by this war and for all who harbor war in their hearts. Hear our voice, that we shall not despair, that we shall see life in each other, that we shall have mercy for each other, that we shall hope for each other, and we shall write our lives in the book of life. Let us choose life. Let us choose life, friends. May it be so, and amen. And we are now once again grateful and pleased to invite up Andrew Garland, who will grace us with his beautiful singing once again.
The text of this song is derived from a translation of writing found on the wall, presumed by a Jewish person in a concentration camp in Germany. In composing this piece, the composer hoped to convey a message of unmovable, unconquerable belief. This is the words of the composer, Dave Ragland. I frequently think about the writer of these words and the hardships that brought about its writing. My imagination leads me to think that they had to believe in the existence of a higher power working for the good, even in the face of mistreatment, torture, and genocide. There's an old Negro spiritual states that he's the same God today as he was yesterday. And even for us living in today's world, the sun still shines somewhere as a signal of God's ever-abounding light and love.
I believe in the sun, 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 even when it is not shining, 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 shining. I believe in love, 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 even when I feel it not, 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 not. I believe in God, 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 even when he is silent, 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 silent. I believe in the sun, in love, in God.
Will you all just take a deep breath in with me and out? Thank you, Andrew. Will you please rise in body or in spirit for our closing hymn, number 95 in the gray hymnal, There Is More Love Somewhere. There is more love somewhere. So believe it and harbor it in your hearts as we leave this place and return to the world outside. Please go in peace and with love for each other. Amen.